got a better path. I want to keep investing in wind and solar, clean coal technology, farmers and scientists harnessing new biofuels to power our cars and trucks. I want to put construction workers back to work, building homes and factories that waste less energy, and retrofit buildings so that they're using less energy. And we can develop a 100-year supply of natural gas that's right beneath our feet and do it in an environmentally sound way. And if you choose this path, we can cut our oil imports by half in 2020 and support more than 600,000 new jobs in natural gas alone. But I'm going to need you to keep moving forward on this energy agenda. We can't go back. Third, this is great, but you haven't even heard the third thing yet. Number 3, I've got a plan to give more Americans like you the chance to gain the skills they need to compete. You know, education was the gateway for opportunity for me. It was the gateway for opportunity for Michelle. All of you who are students here understand this is the ticket to a middle-class life. So, what we've done over the last 3.5 years, for the first time in a generation, nearly every state has answered our call to raise standards for teaching and learning. Some of the worst schools in the country have made real gains in math and reading. Millions of students, maybe some of you, are paying less for college today because we finally took on a system that was wasting billions of dollars on banks and lenders. We cut out the middleman. Let's give those loans directly to students. The money we saved allowed us to help millions of more students. Student loans and grants out there for folks. So, now you've got a choice. You can go with the other folks' plan and gut education, or we can decide that here in the United States of America, nobody should have their dreams set aside because of a crowded classroom or a crumbling school. No family should have to set aside a college acceptance letter because they don't have the money. No company should have to look for workers in China because they couldn't find the right skills here at home. That's not the future for America. We've got to have the best education system in the world. We know how to do it. We've just got to stay with it. So help me recruit 100,000 new math and science teachers in the next 10 years. Let's improve early childhood education. Let's give 2 million workers the chance to get the skills they need at local community colleges. And let's help keep tuition low at colleges and universities all across the country. Because you guys deserve to have the chance to succeed. That's what this election's about, and that's why I'm running for a second term as President of the United States. I love you back, but let me tell you the fourth thing, you'll love me even more. Fourth, my plan would reduce our deficit without sticking it to the middle class. You know, independent analysis has shown that my plan would cut deficits by $4 trillion. And I've already worked with Republicans in Congress to cut $1 trillion worth of spending because those of us who care about what government can do to help people, give them a ladder up, we've got to make sure that the money's well spent. And some programs aren't working. We got to get rid of them. We got to make sure that government is lean and efficient and providing good service to the American people. So I'm willing to do more, but I want to make sure that we also reform our tax code so that it's simple and fair, and so that we ask the wealthiest households in America to pay higher incomes on, or higher taxes on incomes over $250,000. Now that means that if you make more than $250,000, you're still getting a tax break on the first $250,000. It just means that after you make additional money, you're paying the same rate we paid when Bill Clinton was president. The same rate we had when our economy created nearly 23 million new jobs. We had the biggest surplus in history, and we created a whole lot of millionaires to boot. That makes sense for Americans. Now, the other side, since everything is cured by a tax cut, especially for wealthy Americans, so far they've balked, they've refused my offer to work with them on this. But this week, President Clinton pointed out that the single biggest thing missing from my opponent's plan is arithmetic. It doesn't add up. Governor Romney and his allies in Congress tell us that somehow we can lower our deficits. They say the deficit's the most important thing. They say this is vital for our future. But when you ask them, all right, what's your plan? They say, well, we're first going to start by taking $5 trillion out of the economy and giving it to folks like me and Mr. Romney, taking it out of Treasury, rather, and giving it to me and Mr. Romney, and then somehow it's all going to create prosperity for the rest of you. Well, you do the math. If you want to lower the deficit, but we're spending $5 trillion on tax cuts for folks who don't need it and weren't even asking for it, how's that going to work? The fact is, the numbers in Mr. Romney's plan don't add up to lower deficits. And by the way, they don't add up to more jobs either. Because economists have actually said that my opponent's plan would make the recovery slower, not faster. So I'm not going along with that plan. I refuse to ask middle-class families to give up their deductions for owning a home or raising their kids just to pay for another millionaire's tax cut. I refuse to ask students to pay more for college or kick children out of Head Start programs or eliminate health insurance for millions of Americans who are poor or elderly or disabled just so those with the most can pay less. And I will never turn Medicare into a voucher system because no American should have to spend their golden years after years of labor at the mercy of insurance companies. They should retire with the care and the dignity that they have earned. We can strengthen and reform Medicare for the long haul, but we'll do it by reducing the cost of health care. Not by just dumping the costs on seniors, asking them to pay thousands of dollars more. And we're going to keep the promise of Social Security by taking the responsible steps to strengthen it, not by turning it over to Wall Street. Now, let me say, rebuilding this economy is essential. That's priority number one. But our prosperity at home is linked to policies abroad. So 4 years ago, I promised we'd end the war in Iraq. We did. I said we'd wind down the war in Afghanistan. We are. And as a new tower rises above the New York skyline, Al-Qaeda's on the path to defeat and bin Laden is dead.